Hi, we're at the Guinness Trust Estate in Brixton. I'm just going to interview Maurice and ask him a few questions about life on the Guinness Trust Luffer Park in Brixton. Hi, Maurice.
Hi.
So, how long have you lived on the Luffer Park Estate in Brixton?
I've lived on this estate for about 18 years.
18 years. I've been here 20, so just after me.
Yep.
About the same time as Victor. Victor moved in the same time as you.
Okay, yeah, well, because our sons were about the same age and they
Yeah.
grew up together, so yeah, it makes sense.
Makes sense. How much do you think it's changed since when you moved in?
Until recently with the new build, I wouldn't say that it's changed much at all. And I guess there are pros and cons to that. Obviously, it's looking a lot different now because of the new builds happening. Half the estate has been rebuilt. But other than that, I wouldn't say that there is that much that's changed really. Yeah, it's not much has changed, and I don't think that's a particularly good thing because I think there are some things that could have and should have maybe progressed and developed more than they have done. But yeah, not that much has changed in my opinion in that time.
Okay. What would you like to see change on the estate?
What I'd like to see changed on the estate, apart from the new buildings, which is happening, and that's quite nice. Even though I'm going to lose my lovely parquet flooring, but apart from the buildings, I would love to see more community initiatives on the estate. I would love to see more stuff happening on the estate for the young people that live here. I think we're very fortunate on this estate to have a great set of young people that live on this estate. And I've lived here long enough to be able to say that because being here for about 18 years means I've watched a lot of the young people grow up on this estate from quite young to now being young adults themselves. And we are quite fortunate that we have a lot of really good young people on this estate. This is not one of those estates where we sort of played with bad kids and lots of antisocial behaviour. Was certainly not from people on this estate anyway, and certainly not from the young people on this estate.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it would be great if there was more for them. I have tried to talk to and work with Guinness to that end for years. And yet still, as I sit here and speak to you today, there is nothing at all on this estate for young people. And even when things have been introduced or initiated, they're not sustained. So something will pop up for a couple of weeks, maybe even a few months for young people. And then a couple of months or a few months down the line, it dies a death and we go back to the same situation where we're in now, where there is nothing for young people again. And so I think that's really bad, and I think it doesn't really help the good kids on the estate to stay good, because that's usually when you start to get problems and antisocial behaviour, whatever, is when young people don't have anything else to do. Fortunately, that's not been the case with the kids on this estate, but it does mean that we get young people from other estates as well coming onto this estate. And if there are any problems regarding sort of young people and social behaviour on this estate, it's usually outside elements coming in. It's not usually from the young people who live here creating that. But I think if they had stuff for young people, that would be really good. I have two children. I have a 4-year-old and a 17-year-old, and there was nothing here for them at all, which I don't think is great. And I think that's quite shameful of Guinness, to be honest, for me to have been on this estate for that long and for them to almost be neglecting young people that live here that much. I think is quite shameful. I think that that there is a shift as well to actually that there's also the hall that they have, which is largely underutilized. They have a really good hall there. They could be doing lots of good stuff. Lots of great things could be happening in that hall for residents of this estate, and it seems like 90% of the time the hall remains unused all year round.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you think the access to the community hall is okay? Do you think we've got good access to the community hall?
Only if we pay for it.
Right.
and not everybody on the estate can pay for it. But then again, not everybody on the estate is looking to do personal things. I know people on the estate that have been happy to deliver initiatives, workshops, or activities for young people, myself included. I've offered to help and work in that hall and do stuff to help create programs and activities for young people. And I've offered to do that free of charge. So I think we should have better access to the hall, especially for people who are, people on the estate who are gifted and skilled and experienced in delivering certain things and are willing to give those skills and expertise for the benefit of the estate and the other residents. I think the Guinness should be, a bit more
Open.
To working with those people to make sure that the hall is used. At least it's going to some sort of use. It's not just there for people to rent out for parties and weddings and I don't know, whatever you want to have there, christenings and such, or it's not just there for meetings. There's lots of things that could be happening on this estate, and the hall is a good resource, and it's a largely underutilised resource on this estate.
What would you like the community hall to be used for? Or how would you?
I'd certainly like it to be used to put on more activities for the young people, whether it be just in terms of entertainment for them or stuff around just tapping into their creativity, arts and crafts stuff. Like I said, I have a 4-year-old and a 17-year-old, and there's nothing age appropriate. Well, there's nothing at all for them, much less anything age appropriate for them. There's nothing there for them at all. I'd love to see my 4-year-old to be able to go in there and do, I don't know, arts and crafts stuff. He loves painting, he loves stuff like that, which, I don't really...
Yeah, my 4-year-old, she loves to draw.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't be hard, just a little bit of space we can go to and use. Yeah. But other parents can meet up with other kids about the same age and just do something together.
Exactly.
Wouldn't hurt the Guinness, but it's just too much red tape.
Well, especially when the weather's bad, it's...
they've done nothing, absolutely nothing, this whole summer holiday for the children.
That, I think, as well, is something that, again, I think is quite shameful, because in all the years I've been here, there's always been something, at least in the summer holidays, even if it wasn't provided by Guinness, and it was provided, say, for example, by the local council, and they would come and do stuff on the estate, but there's been nothing for the young people at all. Young people's statutory youth services have been decimated anyway by the government cuts, so there's next to no statutory youth service here anyway, which means that stuff for young people on this estate is needed even more, basically, because the council aren't doing it anymore, Guinness aren't doing it either. It means nobody's doing anything for the young people. So I'd like to see stuff that's there for young people, also age appropriate stuff, so colouring, painting, stuff like that. You could have film clubs for the younger ones as well. Not all the kids here, all the families that can afford going to the pictures at the prices that it costs to the cinema and stuff like that. You could have film clubs here and stuff like that. Stuff like this. Get some of the kids involved in filming or making their own films. There's lots of things that could be done with the hall for young people, even for older people as well. There's lots of health and fitness things that could be going on there. I know there are lots of people on this estate that are skilled and qualified fitness instructors, health instructors, boxing instructors, all kinds of people, talented people on the estate that could be doing lots of things.
I mean, Tony's kickboxing should be kicking off soon. So.
Exactly, yes. So there's lots that could be happening with that. Like I said, it's a great resource, but it's a hugely underutilised resource.
Okay. How do you think what approach do you think we should use to try and get the hall used more?
I'm not really sure what approach to use to get the hall used more.
If you just maybe cutting the red tape, having some sort of dialogue, maybe, and then we could work out.
I think that there, for people who are prepared to deliver services in that hall for the residents, I don't think they should be charged sort of a standard, blanket rate that someone who, say, just wants to have a party in there or a social function wants to have. If people are prepared to give their time and their skills and expertise
and
for
be
the benefit,
be responsible
and
for
be
it.
responsible for it, and take responsibility for that, and willing to sort of step up and deliver that. I think the Guinness should recognise that and and take that into account when it comes to cost, because it means that the Guinness does not have to fork out the money to pay someone else to come in and deliver those services. So if you're not going to pay, you should either pay residents to do it. If you Guinness would pay someone else to come and deliver a service. If you've got a resident that can do it and is going to do it, then pay the resident to do it. And if you're not going to pay them, then at least let them do it. Give them the hall to use and waive the charge, or at least give it to them at a highly reduced rate. Just find some way of working with the residents to have something going on in that hall, to be able to use the hall in some form of positive way for the residents.
So hopefully we can start some dialogue and find some sort of resolution.
Yeah, I think that would help. But again, now we have a problem where what isn't going to help, or what I see as another problem, is the fact that everything seems to be, in terms of administration, everything is becoming centralised. So this estate, or the estate office that we have here, is being used less and less, and everything is being moved away from here to a central office. That I don't think is a good thing. There are some things that need to be done at a local level. For some things you need a local presence. This is a community here. This estate is a community, and I don't believe it helps to foster community spirit or good community relations between Guinness and the residents if Guinness don't have an actual presence here that we can engage with. So say for example, I have been trying to request a copy of a letter from Guinness last week. I went into our local estate office and was told, we can't print you that letter from this office. You need to ring the central office and get them to send you a copy of the letter that you want. So I was given the number for the central office. For 2 days, I rang that central office number, and I was put on hold for a total of over 20 minutes over the 2 days. And to this day, I've still not managed to speak to or get through to anyone in the right department, just to ask for a copy of a simple letter. In the end, I ended up having to send an email to sort of a generalised email address, and I'm still waiting for a response. So it's taken half a week so far, and I still haven't spoken to anyone, had any response, and all I'm trying to do is just get a copy of a simple letter. Now, something as small as that, if something as small as that can't be done at a local level, then it doesn't really bode well for community relations and us being able to do bigger things like put on activities and stuff for the estate, for the residents in this new office. So this centralising of things, I don't think is a positive step in terms of community relations, or working better with the residents.
Customer service.
Yeah, customer service that's not a good thing either. Generally, I've not had any major issues with the staff on this estate in all the years I've been here. I've only ever put in I've only been had called to put in 2 complaints, which were upheld. Other than that, I've had no real issues with the staff on the estate. They've been pretty good as far as I'm concerned. The times where they haven't been have been few and far between. So generally, good.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
There's a lot to take in. Maybe we can, if I find out some of the answers to some of the questions that were raised, we can have that as a separate video, and we'll come back with part 2, and we can resolve some of the issues that were raised today.
Yeah, hopefully I can say, this has been fixed. Pete sorted this out.
Alright, thank you very much for your time and everything else. Thank you.
No worries.